massive depreciation benefits. I'm gonna show you how I've used depreciation to write off millions of dollars over the years, how I've used it to buy airplanes and real estate, make money on them just from a tax perspective, and how I like the changes in the big, beautiful tax bill that was implemented recently. I'm not gonna talk about dry accounting tactics. I'm gonna give you an example how I saved $500,000 of taxes, not write-offs, but $500,000 in taxes, cash to me, buying a $1 million airplane, and how a $100,000 property brought me back $26,000 in tax benefits and keeping $50,000 in equity because of that tax benefit. By the way, this is not tax advice. This is my experience. If this is something that you wanna implement, send this video to your tax professional and have them give you a green light for doing this. Do you know only a small fraction of people that listen to my videos actually subscribe? I put a lot of time and energy into these videos. If you can just do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, it literally takes 2 seconds. And if you really love it, share this with someone else. So most people think depreciation is when something goes down in value. And that's true, but it's not just that. Depreciation is one of the most powerful wealth building tools in the US tax code. And the people who know how to use it don't just pay less in taxes, they play a completely different game. So if you're just writing off your home, office, mileage, and your laptop, you're playing the game small. And if you're paying a lot of taxes and not using depreciation, you're literally donating money to the IRS, which they love, but you shouldn't. So let's start big. I'm gonna start with the airplane that I bought in 2022. I bought an SR-22 Turbo, which is one of the most popular airplanes out there, flies high, flies fast for a single engine, and I bought it for $1 million. I remember hearing people buy million and multi-million dollar airplanes and I thought they were crazy. But now I realize they were really just saving money on taxes, which helps you build massive wealth. So here's how this airplane played out. I was in California at the time. The top federal tax rate is 37% and the state taxes in California are 12.3%. So basically my effective tax rate was 49.3%. So in 2022, you could do 100% bonus depreciation. So I was able to write off this airplane 100%. And because it's counted as depreciation, when my bank looks at my income, they add it back in and it's not negated on my cash flow. So let's do some quick math here. I was able to save $370,000 in federal taxes, $123,000 in state taxes, for a total tax savings of $493,000. And get this, I only had to put $150,000 down to buy this airplane. That means after tax savings, I was ahead by $343,000. That's $493,000 minus $150,000. So this wasn't just a free airplane, I got paid to buy it. First of all, I know those are some big numbers, so even if you take a zero off of these numbers, this is something that you can do for smaller airplanes. And you know what? If you're not in the market for an airplane, let's talk about real estate, because the same thing works here. It just works a little bit different. So let's say you buy a fixer-upper for $100,000 and you put $50,000 in renovations and the property is worth $200,000 after it's fixed up. Here's where this gets fun, and a lot of people don't know about this. Because of the big, beautiful tax bill, 100% depreciation comes back this year in 2025 and continues moving forward. So things like cabinets, appliances, HVAC, which typically allowed you to depreciate that over many years, you can now take in the first year. So with that $50,000 in renovations, usually 70% of that qualifies for accelerated depreciation for that first year. That means I can deduct $35,000 in those renovations. So for round numbers, if someone's in a tax bracket of 40%, that's $14,000 in tax cash savings. But it doesn't stop there. Remember, this property was bought for $100,000. So you can do what's called cost segregation. You can hire a cost segregation company to break out the components of the property and can tell you which ones can be depreciated in the first year. So I found that you can usually take about 30% of that in the first year. So $30,000 in this example. At a 40% tax rate, that's another $12,000 in tax savings. That is cash. So let's add this up. So you had depreciation on the renovations, $50,000 times 70% is $35,000, times your 40% tax rate, that's $14,000 in savings. On the property bought for $100,000, 30% of that can be deducted. Take that times 40% and you get $12,000 in savings there. That's $65,000 in depreciation at a 40% tax rate. That's $26,000 cash saved. And yes, there's more. I now have $50,000 in that property. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rent it and have someone else make those payments for me. So now I can pay the mortgage down, I can get the appreciation, and then down the road, as long as I keep the property for more than a year, I can typically do a 1031 exchange, which means I'm not paying taxes on that property because I'm putting that money into another property or properties, and I just keep rolling that money. If you don't understand the power of depreciation at this point, I don't know how else I can make this more clear. In fact, if you follow me, you've probably seen me compare other private jets to other private jets and also compared those to some single turboprops. I'm going to keep playing this game and increasing the stakes. So now I'm looking at a $2 to $3 million airplane, maybe even a $4 to $5 million airplane to save more money in taxes. Oh, and guess what? I rent out my airplane when I'm not using it, which makes most of the payment. This is how you build wealth, and this is how the rich get richer. People complain about Donald Trump and other people not paying taxes. Well, guess what? If you do it right, it's 100% legal. And because of the big, beautiful bill, 100% depreciation is brought back, and there's a lot of other little things in that beautiful tax bill that you need to look into. So depreciation, what can you use it on? You can use it on aircraft, you can use it on real estate, you can use it for machinery and equipment, appliances, cabinetry, flooring, landscaping, all things that are under 20 years of useful life, laptops, cars, and all kinds of other things. So here's the big takeaway. If you're earning money and you're paying taxes, you need to look into depreciation because you could be missing one of the biggest legal cheat codes in the game. So don't just figure out how to earn more, figure out how to keep more. So if you want to see future videos on not only how to make more money, but how to keep more of it, subscribe. And if you like this video, you're going to love this next one.